Hey, how are you? I'm Cheily, and today I want to share with you my 12-step world-class system for lead generation for service-based businesses. I've been doing Facebook ads for the past 7 years, and here on Upwork for the past 5 years. I've worked with dozens of clients, and you can see some of my case studies down here on my profile. Okay, so let's start. The first step is the foundations. Here we're gonna have and identify a clear offer. As a lead generation business or service-based business, we're gonna focus either on a $0 diagnostic, free consults, any promotions that you have running, any holiday theme, any promotions related to a particular event, and maybe a new patient special. So in this part of the strategy, I'm gonna dig deep into your business, like analyze it, see what has worked in the past, or what new offers we can create that is gonna resonate with that ideal audience. The second thing we're gonna do is the geologic. Basically, we're gonna identify where is your ideal audience located. Is it within a radius from your local business, or maybe some income segments that we're gonna target by zip codes, either by income levels, propensity to buy, and exclude some low interest areas or competitors' headquarters. So that's gonna be very important for us to understand, okay, what are gonna be the geographical key points for us to run your ads. The third part is a fast funnel. So we have different options with this. Either we create a landing page that is very fast. We usually recommend go high level. The other option is to have a Facebook native lead form, or a tap to call, a tap to WhatsApp, or a tap to Instagram DM, depending on your offer and your funnel. The second step is the speed to lead. Because what will happen sometimes, and what I see happening with clients all the time, is that they take too long to reply to the leads. So the leads forget that they even sign up for your service or they were even interested. So the faster you can reply to a lead, the better, and you're gonna see better results. Because a lead that you contact in the first 1 minute of filling out the form has more chances to reply to you than a lead that you reply in 24 hours. So that's really important. And we can do that in several ways. We can either automate part of that process with high level, with Zapier, with depending on the automations that we want to create. But if we can automate the process, that would be ideal, because even if the business have like a salesperson, that person is usually not on the phone or on the computer 100% of the time. So that automation part of the process is very important. The other thing we need to do is have a proper CRM tracking. We want to make sure that the leads that are coming in are actually converting. So we need to have a system for us to identify the quality of those leads, right? And then we're gonna, once we standardize the events, for example, the lead form, the schedule, the book a call, etc., we're gonna understand the possible roadblocks, and we're gonna go over that in the next step. Then we're gonna identify an attribution model. Basically, we want to make sure that we understand, okay, what is the cost per action, the cost per lead, the cost per book call, the cost for book appointment, etc. So once we understand the cost of all of the leads that we have, the better we're gonna have clarity in our numbers and improve over time. So that's gonna be the foundation step. The second step is the offer, right? So once we do our initial research, we can either create new offers that is going to be maybe more appealing, because what I've noticed sometimes is that clients will come with a set offer, but that offer is not very compelling, right? It's like very generic, or they use the offers that all the competitors are using, so it doesn't have any unique value proposition. So the way we want to create offers is to make sure that they have a tight deadline, so people are more compelled to book, they have some sort of urgency, and they have like 3 bullet points, either related to benefits, risk reversals, or urgency. The other part is the CTA. Do we want them to book online directly, like they can choose from a calendar? Do you want them to book just a form and you contact them? Do you want them to get a quote, learn more, apply, sign up? So we have like different options that we can play with. The second thing is the social proof. We want to try to use our reviews in our favor, either through Google reviews or Yelp, and also have some sort of UGC content, so user-generated content. So people who actually went through the procedure or through the service that you offer. This could be videos, before and afters, any type of content that shows a progress or the service made. The next step is to make sure there is a form that has some friction into it. So you don't want people to fill it out very easily. You want to make sure that, okay, they have the name, a phone and email, but also a zip code, maybe some sort of urgency, maybe some sort of budget, so we can qualify them more. So we can understand the lead, so by the time when you call them, you already know if that lead is ready to buy or not. The other thing is make sure that we can route our leads correctly. Some leads, maybe they are ready to start today or over the next 28 hours, then you can have your phone person, your salesperson, call them right away. But if they're not that interested or they wanted to start the treatment on the service over a few weeks or in the next month, then you can route them to a calendar to book them later on. The next step is a creative system. This way, we try different formats, because the creative and the ad itself is what is the first thing the client sees or the potential client sees, right? So we want to make sure that the creative that we're using falls in one of these buckets, either pain, solution, proof, offer, answering an FAQ, or a local pride. Because especially certain businesses will be more inclined to buy from you if they know you're a local business or you have been doing it for a certain amount of years, etc. Then for the formats, we need to create it in different ways. So the first one is static, reels, or UGC, carousels, and before and afters. All of this is to make sure that we have enough creators to test. We have like different hypotheses, but until we try it, we don't know for sure what's gonna convert. So the more different angles we have, the better. And some angles I usually suggest to win locally is same-day service, transparent prices or financing, take on the way, neighborhood trust, seasonal urgency. So these are some angles to make sure people book more quickly. The other thing is, like, if you don't have UGC content, here are some prompts that I will suggest. For example, a 20-second, 45-second selfies, B-roll, how fast the service was provided, etc. Now, the campaign structure. Here we're going to create a campaign based on different levels, right, of our audience. We have the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. So for the first part is all about capturing the demand, either through leads or leads through a Facebook form, like native on Facebook, or creating a landing page. And here, once we create the ad set, it's going to be based on the radius, high income zip codes, lookalike, based on actual clients and boot cost. Because that's one mistake that people make, is that they create lookalikes based on leads, not necessarily clients. But if you do have like a big client list, that's the list I would recommend creating the lookalikes. The other thing is like search intent interest. We can have like different ad sets, one that is more broad and one that is more intentional based on the interest. And then for the placements, if you have a small budget, I would recommend to only focus on feed, stories, and reels for both Facebook and Instagram. But if you have more budget, then I would suggest to include the Advanced Plus feature on Facebook and exclude the audience network if the leads are not working or are not good quality. And then for the ad creative, then we name it based on the hook, the format, and the offer. Then for the second step of the funnel is consideration and nurture, because not everyone who sees your videos or your ads are gonna convert right away, but that's a potential avatar, a potential client who are just ready, who could be ready to book with you if the right type of content is shown to them. Because if you have the first and the top of the funnel content and it's not converting, for the second step of the funnel, we want to make sure that we share more reviews, share more value, answer more questions, showcase what makes you different, so they actually have more chances of converting. Sometimes we will have a lower cost per lead with the middle of the funnel than with the top of the funnel, because this is the stage where they are considering you but not ready yet. So it's about nurturing with the right type of content. And finally, retargeting campaign. That is gonna be like a more direct approach. We're gonna make sure that we are retargeting people who have interacted with you more recently. So either the landing page visitors in the past 30 days, the 14-day social engager, 7-day starters, like meaning people who opened the form but didn't fill it out. And here we want to show more testimonials, like more urgency, like X amount of spots left today, etc. And once everything is done, you can become a case study for us. Then the second step of the creative system is to have new tests coming in. So ideally, you want to try new angles, more UGC, more Google reviews, create more content over the course of you working with me, basically, because we don't want to only keep this creative. We want to always keep improving, because you might encounter ad fatigue. So you want to make sure that the videos or the creative that you're using is continuously being changed, updated, renovated, because we don't want to show the same ad forever, because the audience gets tired of seeing the same thing every day. So we want to make sure that we're showing something different every 2 weeks, every month at least. Step number 5 is budget and cadence. Here we want to make sure, okay, we launch 3 to 5 ad sets on the first time. Here we have a small budget at first, depending on the size of your market. Then we start to scale it 20% at a time, based on the conversions, the cost per lead, the cost per action over the next 2-3 days. The third thing that we do into this process of scaling is we duplicate the winning ads, either to new zip code closer or creative angles, before increasing the budget too much. And the more we do these changes, the more we can keep the same cost per lead, just at a higher cost, at a lower cost, or lower the cost per lead overall. Because let's say that we spend $20 in ad sets, and out of the 3-4 creatives that you were using, one of them was the winning one. You want to make sure that you are putting more budget into that specific creative the next time you launch the ad set. The sixth part, and this is the money printer, this is what I like to do the most, is nurture and follow up. We like to do zip code blast, SMS blast, and we want to basically automate instant messages about, we got your request, you have like a one-click calendar, ringing to call the people who sign up the forms, and we want to create certain sequences every few days. So you have the sequence for day 1, day 3, day 5, etc. And these touches can be either through a call, through a text message, through a WhatsApp, to emails, and we want to make sure that we are constantly talking or showing our offers to our interested leads. We also want to make sure that we do some content drips, for example, case studies, FAQ, more before and afters, because there is certain niches where the before and afters are not that allow. For example, in the health niche, I work with certain med spas where Facebook doesn't allow too many before and afters, but we can use them in the landing page, in our SMS campaigns, so we don't have to limit ourselves to the limitations of Facebook. Then we can also show more FAQs or how the financing works, a map, a screenshot, for example, serving in your area today. We have a no-show path, for example, a 2-message reschedule path, a micro incentive. This could be discounts, it could be like extra service that we can add on top of the initial interest. That way, people who were already interested in one service can upsell different services that you offer. Then we have optimization ladder. Basically, what to improve and in what order. We have, for example, speed to lead, offer clarity, creative hook, form fiction, geolocation and audience overlap, objective, retargeting. So we want to make sure that we understand what's the priority based on the issues that we're encountering. And here are some action steps to fix it. The 8th step is the troubleshooting map, because once we launch our campaign, we can we have two options: either everything works great right away and we don't have to improve that much, or we can start to notice certain things based on the behavior of our ads, and then we can decide on the proper action step based on what's happening. So for example, if we have that the cost per lead is too high, this is probably cause, and this is how we fix it. Or maybe the leads are cheap but they are low quality, or maybe we don't have enough book calls, or maybe even if you have book calls the sales are low, or maybe there is a frequency spike, or the volatility, we don't have enough volume, etc. So once we observe what's happening with our leads, then we can create an action plan to fix it. Here are the KPIs and benchmarks that we want to focus on. So the CTR, the link, the cost per lead. We want to understand, okay, how much are we willing to spend per lead? This is gonna depend a lot on the type of service that you offer, because if your service is $1,000 versus $2,000 versus $5,000, then you can afford a higher cost per lead, right? And we can also understand, okay, maybe we can have less leads but they're higher quality, or we just want more volume even if the quality is a bit low. So that's something that we can decide together based on your business. Then we have like a tasting matrix. We want to test the offers, the forms, the creative, the locations, and the objective. And this is going to be very important in the first 14 days, but it's going to be an ongoing process anyways. Because when we start the campaign, you usually don't have any previous data. If you have, great. But when we're creating campaigns from scratch, we have so many things to test. And only when we launch it is where we're going to find out, okay, this is working, this is not working, and this is what we do, right? And we have different tests, different hypotheses, and we need to put it to the test to actually get results and then make decisions based on data. The 11th step is making sure that we are compliant and we're using the reviews, right? So we want to always make sure that we're using industry-safe language. For example, no medical claims, especially in the health niche. You cannot promise any amount of money, any amount of results per se, unless it's like a service-based business where you can actually promise a certain delivery time, etc. But you can use words, for example, may help, many clients report this result, etc. So that way you don't get flagged by Facebook. And when showcasing our landing page, we want to make sure that we're always showcasing the business name, our license, our credentials, with users, logos if allowed, etc. And finally, the final sauce, the final step for this 12-step strategy is weekly rituals. As a media buyer, I feel like you have to have certain discipline to continue working on your clients, making sure that you're making the right changes, testing new things. So for example, this is my personal preference, is what I tend to do. So on Mondays, I check the data from the last 7 days, the cost per lead, the cost per acquisition, cost per action, the show rate. We check the quality of the leads, etc. Then on Wednesday, we try to launch 1 or 2 new creative and probably a new offer variant depending on the client. By Friday, we might want to test different zip codes, either adding more or removing more, check the frequency of the ads, how often are they being shown to people. I can rotate the retargeting, so that the way I'm optimizing the campaign every 2-3 days to make sure that we're testing something different rather than just set it and forget it. And monthly, we want to start creating maybe a new funnel, either a quiz or an estimate builder, photo upload for a quote, or maybe more before and afters, etc. And for you, you will get a quick analytics report. So yeah, this is my process. This is how I make sure that I get results for dozens of clients across the US, Canada, and Europe, and all over the world. Especially, and it's created especially for service-based businesses. So let me know if you need any help with your project. Just send me a message and we can discuss and have a call, and yeah, I hope I can help you get amazing results for your business. Have a great day. Bye bye.